What is new, my Mystic crew? So today we are going back to locals. Last week didn't go as well, but we kind of expected that playing Amazements in 2023. This is New Year's Eve. It is the last weekend of the year. It's the last locals of the year. And for those of you who know, as of January, I plan to actually not go full try hard, but I plan to go as competitive as I can. Because I have a goal in mind. So as of next week, as of the first weekend of January, the new series that's coming to both YouTube and TikTok is Can I Pay for a Wedding with Yu-Gi-Oh cards? So therefore anything in my trade binder and anything I pull through prizing will instantly be for sale. And any money I make will go into a savings account to go towards my wedding. So that's the goal. So as such, last week I labelled the video the prequel part 1 because I wanted to see how comfortable I felt doing a vlog style series. I'm not a big fan of being on camera, but it is quite interesting and it is something I intend to do moving forward. So hopefully you will see this get better as we go and as I get more comfortable. But so this is going to be the prequel part 2. Initially, I was going to take my pendulum deck, just one last week before going hard. But then Mathmech Circular is getting banned from January 1st, so I thought, do I take Mathmech, which was the first deck I ever topped locals with? But then thinking about it, I've decided I want to actually give my meta deck a run, because I haven't ran it in a while. I've been on pendulums for quite a while. Just to see how comfortable I am still with the combos, to see if there's anything I would change in the main or in the side or in the extra, and what I would change ready for January. So this is kind of like a test week. So I'm going to show you the deck and go over some choices that I've made and why I've made them. Okay, so this is the quick overhaul of the deck as a total. So a few little deck choices here is I'm running Berthamet at 3. Now the reason why I'm running it at 3 is because it's the only dark type in the deck other than Albaz and Aluba, and you need the dark type for one of the branded fusions, the Lubellion. So running it at 2 kind of felt like I was handcuffed to only going into the Gazelle line once per duel, because I needed that other Berthamet in there. So he is up to 3 for that reasoning. The rest of the Chimera package is exactly the same. 3 Gazelle, 3 Mirror Sword Knight, 3 Kotal and 3 Fusion. We have our board breakers of Super Poly and Fenrir. Great board breakers. Into the branded package, we have our 3 branded fusions. We have 1 ulti, which is very nice. We have 2 secret Albazes, 3 branded openings, 1 kit, 1 Aluba and 1 branded in white. Then for hand traps, we have the Ash, the Veiler and the Imperm. We also have the Hex Sealed Fusion, which will help us go into Dragoon, which I'll explain that combo in a moment. In the extra deck, we of course have the Chimera line. I only have 1 Guardian Chimera. I would love to up him to 2, but I do only have 1, so I have to run with what I've got. Your typical branded package line in there, your Lubellion, your Albion, your 2 Mirror Jade and your Ribran. Dragoon, as already shown, and then our Super Poly targets. So these 3 are pretty common Super Poly targets. I think they're the most generic. And this one is in there for like 1 in every 5 games. And that is if your opponent ends on SP Little Knight and Baron de Floor. They're both warriors with different names, and that's all what this guy requires. So he is literally there to get rid of that little combination, which a lot of people are ending their first boards on if they're capable. But yeah, so the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. So the way you'd make this is off branded fusion, you would send your Albaz and your Light Seal to go into Albion, and then Albion's effect will banish the Albaz and the Light Seal to make Dragoon, because the Light Seal can substitute for any material. So it's substitute for the Dark Magician. And then Dragoon's other thing is either Red Eyes or any dragon effect monster, which Albaz is. So that is how you would get into Dragoon through that play. As a whole, I'm very happy with the deck. It can brick. hopefully we won't see any bricks today. And if you're interested in the sideboard, let me know and I will put a post up on Instagram or Twitter of what the sideboard was I was running today. All socials are the same as this channel and TikTok, which is just Mystic Frost 86. And I will catch you guys at Geek Retreat, and that's Geek Retreat Kettering. It's where we play every Sunday. If you ever want to come down and support the store, please do. It's a fantastic place filled with wonderful, hard-working people. But I will catch you there shortly. Okay, so this door's sped up 4 times. So as you can see, I've activated Cornfield Kotal, searched the Mirror Sword Knight, used the Mirror Sword Knight, and gone through all the plays to get to Gazelle. My opponent has nothing. I've done the play, got the Mirror Sword Knight back in defence. So I'll go ahead here and activate another Chimera Fusion, fusing both of my monsters off into the Berthamut, dumping a second Mirror Sword Knight into the grave. We rip a card and we set 2. Our opponent activates Pot of Prosperity, and it's here I realise we are against the birds. So yay, birds. We go ahead and Effect Railer, we then Imperm, we do all sorts of tomfoolery to try and get around these birds' plays. But he goes ahead, Book of Moons as monsters, so the effect still goes through. He's got the big old Imperm out here, and yeah, it's not looking good for us because all these birds are doing bird things. So I banished the Mirror Sword Knight to negate monster effect, and they're still going. So I'll go ahead and activate the Chimera Fusion. I have to do it in defense mode because MPEM negates attack position monsters. I then banish to get the Gazelle back, sorry, the Berthamut back. I do all the searches, the branded fusion. And you know, here we get into the here we get into Dragoon. We have a massive lineup on the board. We switch to attack and we take game 1. So we are moving into game 2 here. I would normally pause and get rid of the sideboard. However, given how fast this sided up, this won't take long. Our opponent chooses to go first, I believe, which is absolutely fine with us. Like I said, I've sped all of these games up by 4 times just to try and actually fit some game footage into the locals vlog. If you prefer the vlogs with only like 1 game but at a slower pace to go through all the plays properly, please let me know. Otherwise, I'll keep doing it this way just to get you as much content as possible. So he goes first, activates the Pot of Persp, gets the Smorgberg. I don't know what it does, but he doesn't run any other Smorg, so you can't activate the effect to grab the Spell Trap. But there we are met with M-Pen already, so now any special summon monsters in tap position do nothing. And we have opened none of our sideboard cards, so it feels really good. We have a bit of a brick of a hand as well. Yeah, there's really not a lot we can do. And then a second M-Pen hits the field, and then he's got the Omni Negate as well, so it's like, cool. So we super poly them off. Not really a whole lot more we can do other than set 2 pass. He now activates something where it spins 2 cards back to the top of my deck. We weren't sure who chose the order because it just says put them back in any order. So we just went random and he just picked face down cards, put them back on. I now know what my next 2 top cards are, and they're not great. It was another Super Poly and Chimera Fusion, which ain't going to do me any good. So I just scooped it up. I thought, yeah, let's save time because against birds, if they set up their boards right, they could really slow you down. And I don't want to go to get into time. So I decided to scoop it up and just move us to game 3. And again, this is where we're going first. So hopefully, you know, we don't brick. And we start off by summoning Gazelle. And he effect railers, which, my God, hurts. I have to set 2 and pass. So here's the X-Grav. I drop the Ash to stop the search. He summons a bird. I activate Effect Railer, but because he didn't chain the other bird, he can't actually spec it back. He went with the effect, add it back to hand, but here's another Gazelle to finally get the Chimera Fusion. And we go into the Chimera play, sending, grabbing the Cornfield Kotal, discard of it for thingy. I swing. Here I realised I didn't actually want to activate what I've done because I've got Super Poly face down and I've got rid of the card in hand. But, you know, it is what it is. We go with it. So, yeah, we swing, take 24 more 100. He has 2 cards in hand and he scoops it up. So there we have it. Okay, so just finished round 1 and we're playing against Brendan playing Flunderies, which is always fun. Took the game 2-1, very close game 2, came down to who could hand trap who the most. Thankfully I won that one. So yeah, we are starting off good with victory under our belt. I believe there's 4 rounds today, so I will check in with you guys after round 2. Okay, so here's the round 2 gameplay. We are up against Solomon, who is on Sword Soul. Now, Solomon is one of the better players we have at our locals. He is arguably number 1, possibly Callum. They're both in the top 2. There was a little delay to starting. I don't know why I haven't edited that out, but oh well, here we go. We are off. We start off with the Kotal. Discarding it to grab the Gazelle. I spec the Fenrir effective grab a Cashdera monster. I normal summon the Mirror Sword Knight. Spec the Berthamut to grab Kit and the Chimera Fusion. I activate the Chimera Fusion, sending the Gazelle and the Berthamut. Berthamut chain 1, Gazelle chain 2, and Chimera chain 3. So we grab, we spec back, and we can rip a random card. We set a card, I let my opponent cut, we rip the Pot of Desires, which is not a bad card to cut. We take out his option to grab more cards. There is the Emergence, followed by the Forbidden Droplet, negating the Chimera and Fenrir, and also halving their attacks. So, yay. He goes ahead here now and does a whole Sword Soul play. Here's the Monk. He activates Vessels, ditching one, and I think it adds, I could be wrong, but he sends the Fashuda, activates the Fashuda targeting, so I have to go ahead and shoot the Super Poly here. Sorry, the Chimera Fusion here, going into Guardian Chimera for the draw 2 and pop 1. So I pop Monk. There goes the Adhara into another Monk. Now he normal summons Taya. I go to activate Sword Knight, but I no longer control the Chimera Fusion, so yeah, no monster negate for me here, which sucks, but oh well. So Taya effect, ditching the blue one, Sahara, I don't know what it's called. But he activates the Azzy effect, pop in the Guardian Chimera, gets the Moye reveals, go into the Chi Chao. Moye draws one, Chi Chao searches, I want to say Chenglong, but that's most probably wrong as well. But it specs that out, burns me for 1200, goes into the Baron the floor. The Baron effect to pop the Mirror Sword Knight because it can't be destroyed by battle. He swings into that, so I take 200 damage, and then that is game on board. So, yeah. Wow, got OTK'd, which feels good. Always feels good. But now we are siding out 3 cards. We are going into... We have taken out the Super Polys, making 4 cards in that extra deck dead. But we have sided in our 2 copies of Triple Tack and our 1 End of Anubis, just to shut down those Tenny plays, because without the access of activating graveyard effects, the Tennies aren't going to do much. So I go ahead and start off with discarding Kotal, grabbing the Mirror Sword Knight this time, normal summon Mirror Sword Knight and Tribute for cost, spec the Berthamut. Berthamut grabs the Gazelle and Chimera Fusion, which fuses. Everyone's seen this combo, and he Druid Worms away the Mirror Sword Knight. Berthamut does target, which sucks. However, I didn't declare a target, so I could turn around and argue that and said, no, I didn't declare a target, so I'm targeting the Kotal. However, everyone in their right mind would have targeted the Mirror Sword Knight, but it's just one of those things where I knew what was happening, my opponent knew what was happening, so why mess around with it? Just let it go through. We rip the random card here. So we've got the Baphomet, we've got the Dragoon. I go ahead and spec the end of Anubis by banishing the Chimera during my opponent's standby phase. And Solomon, being Solomon, he looks 5-6 moves ahead, and he could see that he wasn't playing through that board with his hand he had, so he scooped it up to save time, and we're moving to the all-important game 3. Now, here, nerves does start taking in. Like I said, Solomon is one of our better players. I didn't have an easy week this week. I got paired up against 4 really strong players back to back. So here I was feeling the nerves. I could feel the pressure a little bit, but it happens. I know it's only locals, but when you're paired up against somebody at a much higher caliber than you are, you do kind of feel that pressure there. So he's doing all these plays. There's the Moye, the reveal, but I go ahead and activate the effect veiler to stop that, because it's the tokens that's the issue here, and he just passes, and it's like, okay, cool. So there's Fenrir. Here is thingy, grab the Branded Fusion, and I get met with Droll, which is fine. I activate the Branded Fusion, get met with Ashed, which hurts. Activate the Fenrir effect, banish the Moye, and then just swing into one of the monks for 14. He's now thinking, because obviously I've got the monster banish, so if he activates a monster effect, I can just banish a face-up card he controls. He goes ahead and specs out, I want to say this is a Shuna, but I get Shuna and Atara mixed up. I'm sure this is a Shuna. So he goes ahead and specs the for Shuna. He's still having a really good think about what it is he wants to do. He's got limited cards in his hand. The resources are dwindling. So he goes Shaman effect, 2 target, and I just drop the effect veiler. I'm not going to waste the Kashtira banish here, because I'm not overly scared of Shaman at this point, because I had that effect veiler. So I just drop the effect veiler. Solomon now here goes into the SP Little Knight, which just on summon banishes a monster. And there goes Fenrir. Fenrir specs Fenrir. Fenrir specs by itself. Activate the effect, and he activates the SP Little Knight to spec banish them both, and then bring them back during the end phase. I activate Branded Fusion, and he skips it up, and that is game 3. So just finished off round 2, where I played against Solomon on Sword Soul. He is arguably one of our best players here, but thankfully, because that is the deck my boy plays and we deck test a lot, I know the deck very well and could pick up on its weaknesses, and I was able to take that game 2-1 as well. Solomon took the first game, put me on the back foot. Game 2, I just set up a very fantastic board which he couldn't break, and then game 3 again came down to the hand traps. So both games have been very touch and go, but we've been able to pick up 2 wins. So 4 rounds, we've got 2 wins already, and I normally aim for a 2-2, so I'm already on par for what I aim for. So anything more than today is definitely a bonus, but learning little interactions of the deck as well as I go. I'm definitely quite comfortable with how the deck's performing. It is bricking a little bit, but that's something what I need to look into. I need to do a bit more research on more the branded side of the deck, because that is definitely what's bricking for me. But I will check in with you guys after round 3. Okay, and here's round 3. I'm not going to show you the gameplay for round 4. Just like I'm not going to try and talk you through what my opponent does here. I don't know what any of these cards are called. I'm against Callum, who is our other arguably best player. It's either Callum or Solomon, and this time I am getting my ass slapped by Unchained, and I can't keep up with it when I'm sitting opposite it, let alone trying to recap here. So I'm just going to give a chat about the channel and what to expect over this gameplay. Like I said, I did record round 4. It's a 42-minute long game. We virtually went to time. I was up against a gentleman called Matt Black, who is an ex-pro player on Dark Worlds, and it was an amazing match. I took game 3 due to him bricking, which wasn't the best ending. but I still came out with the win. Like I say, it was a fantastic match. So to the point, I might upload that as a separate video, as just live gameplay. If you are interested in that, please do let me know. And then, yeah, so like I said, this whole episode is called the Prequel Episode 2. Reason for that is because I wanted from January 1st, which I know time this comes out will either be January 2nd or 3rd, but this was all recorded on New Year's Eve. From January 1st, I'm doing a full season, a full series over the course of the year called Can I Pay for a Wedding Using Yu-Gi-Oh cards? It is where everything I pack, through pricing and whatever else, is instantly for sale. I will still trade, but only if it is over trade value. So therefore, I'm still pounds in on the cash sale side of things. If it's not over trade value, then sadly it is cash only. And it is a case of how much I can make selling the Yu-Gi-Oh cards from pricing to put towards my wedding fund, to put it simply. Even if I can just put £200 over the course of the year towards it, I'll be happy with that. But yeah, so that's the idea. So as of the next episode, that is what you'll see. However, I do feel like I've used up all my luck already, because from pricing this time, I went 3-1. I came second overall, and I packed the QCR Centurion Synchro Monster, which according to eBay is about 95 quid. So I can't see me packing better than that, but who knows, we have a course of a whole year to do so. And this is the deck I am using throughout. As we can see, I do have a bad matchup against Unchained. Now, I'm fully aware it's getting hit in the ban list. However, I don't think that will kill the deck. A lot of people are panicking, saying Unchained's dead, it's dead. I thought that about Mathmech when Circular got limited to 1. However, it was absolutely fine and just as strong. It wasn't as consistent, but it was just as strong. And I think that's what we're going to see here as well. So I do need to try and find a way to stop decks like this, and even Fire Kings to a certain extent, because I do have a bad matchup against Fire Kings. I am considering taking 3 cards out of the side, I just don't know what yet, and replacing them with Summon Limit. Now, it is cheap to run the Floodgate. I admit that, I appreciate that. But obviously, game 1 is game 1. It's going to do what it does. If I can pick up that win, I know I'm going second, so is what it is. Game 3 side in the Summon Limits. Whereas if I lose game 1, then game 2 side in the Summon Limits for going first. I don't know. It's the only thing I can think of at the moment. So if anyone has any recommendations about what Branded Chimera could do to slow this deck and Fire Kings down, please let me know. I'm very interested, because I do feel I'm going to have a rough time against those matchups. Also, I do hope you're enjoying the new vlog style series. Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying recording them. I feel like they're a little bit more consistent and a little bit more fun than just trying to get live dual footage. The dual footage is obviously what people want to see, but it is what it is. So, yeah, but there we go. So Guardian Chimera hits the field. Sadly, not a whole lot I could do. I got impermed. I don't understand why the imperm, because it was all off thingy. Yeah, my opponent, like I said, Callum came first. He went undefeated on the day, and yeah, it shows. He tops every week without fail, both Callum and Solomon. So yeah, hey ho. So we take this loss here, but we move on to bigger things. So we just finished round 3 and I took the loss. I was against Callum on Unchained. Obviously it's the day before the ban list, so it's still at full power, and I got steamrolled 2-0. Game 1 was a little closer, but he was able to get around everything I had. Game 2, I went first and bricked. I just had to pass on nothing. We've only one Effect Veiler in hand, which, as you know, against Unchained is not stopping nothing. And he just steamrolled me, and yeah, it happens. I'm just surprised he didn't OTK me, but he didn't have the greatest hand either. But then my follow-up play wasn't that fantastic either, and then took the loss. So yeah, but 2-1 at the moment. I'm very happy with that. Like I said, my target's always 2-2. So yeah, I've already hit that target. Just obviously the better I do, the better. I can now do a little bit of tweaking in the deck. Maybe taking out one of the super poly targets would be handy. But yeah, but that's the idea of this week, is to see what's working, see what's not, and what I can change and tweak from there. So I will catch you guys after round 4, and we will see how we finish. Okay, so after round 4, I took that game. I was against Matt Black, who is actually an ex-professional player who took a break from the game and recently came back. And absolute god of a player. He was on Dark World. Game 1, as you'll see, he really took it to me. I was able to take game 2, and in game 3 he bricked and I took the win. We've just done standings, and I actually came second this week with a 3-1 record. I came second. I topped locals with my competitive deck on week 1, and the only deck I lost to is getting hit by the ban list tomorrow. So definitely looking at improvements. So I'm very happy with how we've done this week. I'm going to open my packs up and see what I pull. But I will catch you guys next week.